we want to use quadratic formula. So what do? We figure out a, b, c first. A is 1, because the number before t squared is by default 1. And also the number before t by default is 1. Then the constant term is negative 2. So I have a, b, c. Then we just plug into the quadratic formula. Negative b is negative 1 in this case, plus minus square root of b squared, which is 1 squared, minus 4 times a times c, times a is just 1, times c negative 2. So we see 1 squared minus 4 times minus 2, that's plus 8. So 1 plus 8, that's 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So we get two solutions. Negative 1 plus 3 divided by 2 give us negative 1 plus 3, which is 2. 2 divided by 2, which is 1. Negative 1 minus 3, which is a negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2. So we do get two solutions, right? Same as the solution from factoring. Anyone has any question?
Professor?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question about the final exam.
Oh, about the final exam, we'll talk about later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see this example. So we're figuring out ABC. A is 1, B is 18, C is negative 2. Then we plug into the quadratic formula, right? Then negative 2 times negative 4, that's plus 8. 18 squared plus 8. And we simplify, we get 2 radical 83. So we still get two solutions. Negative 9 plus square root of 83. Negative 9 minus square root of 83. Two irrational solutions. The bottom here to show you, you don't really need a calculator to calculate 18 squared, right? You could do this. You could break up into a plus b, which is 10 plus a squared. By the formula of perfect square, you get the first one square, second one square, first one times the second one times 2. Right? You get this. Or you can do 20 minus 2, which is also 18. Right? By the formula, you get the first one square, second one square, first one times the second one times 2. You also get the same number, right? All right, let's see this one. A equals to 4, B equals to 5, C equals to negative 2. So plug in, then simplify. So get negative 5 plus square root of 57 divided by 8, and negative 5 minus square root of 57 divided by 8. Two solutions. Well, now let's see this one. This one has a fraction involved. M squared plus 19 over 2m plus 1. So let's figure out A, B, C. A is 1, B is 19 over 2, C is 1. Then we just plug in, right? So it's a fraction. We just plug in. So let's see this example. This example, we don't get one side to be 0. So first thing to do is to make the right-hand side to be 0. So we move 4t to the other side, become negative 4t. We move negative 15 to the other side, become positive 15. So we get 23t minus 4t. Get a minus 4t. And negative 15 to the other side become plus 15. So we simplify, simplify the like terms. We get 4 squared plus 19t plus 3 equals to 0. So this tells us A is 4, B is 19, C is 3. Then we plug into the formula, calculate. In the end, you'll get two irrational solutions. Anyone has any question? One term called the discriminant. Discriminant means b squared minus 4ac. Okay. So you call b squared minus 4ac the discriminant. For real number solutions, discriminant has to be at least 0, which means greater than or equal to 0. If b squared minus 4ac equals 0, the discriminant equals 0. We only have one solution, right? Imagine this, you see. If this is 0, we're just left with negative b over 2a. Actually, that's the x value of the vertex, right? The vertex of the graph of the parabola. And if the discriminant is a negative number, it's no real number solution, but complex. But we're not covering complex numbers in this course. Okay, you're going to learn in the future. So if the discriminant is 0, we only have one solution. And the graph touches x-axis. If the discriminant is positive, but not a perfect square, then there will be two solutions, right? So it does cross x-axis twice. Okay. So let me make this bigger. Discriminant to be 0, we have two solutions, well, one solution. Discriminant is not a perfect square. Not 0, we have two real solutions. And can be rational or irrational. If discriminant is perfect square, then solutions are rational numbers, or the quadratic expression can be factored, right? If discriminant, right? Why this gives this sign? If it's negative, there's only no real solution but complex solutions, okay? Example. Determine if the quadratic equation given has one real solution, two real solutions, or no real solutions using the discriminant. So we just take the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. But first we need to figure out a, b, c. Well, a is 3, b is 1, c is 2. That's easy, right? Then calculate b squared minus 4ac. So b squared minus 4ac, b is 1, so b squared is 1 squared is 1, minus 4 times 3 times 2. That's a negative number, negative 23. It's a complex, has complex solutions, right? So it has no real solution but complex solutions, right? What is the discriminant? If we have 4x squared plus 4x plus a equals 0, so we need to simplify it. Right? When we simplify, we divide every term by 4. So we get x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0. So b squared minus 4ac equals the 1 minus 4ac, right? C is 2, a is 1. So 1 minus 8, that's negative 7. So the discriminant is negative, which means there's no real solution. Anyone has any question? Okay, let's see this example. Well, 4x squared plus 4 plus a equals 0. So we can simplify. We see it's 3 terms, all has 4 as common factor. So we divide everything by 4. 0 divided by 4 still 0. Right? So 4x squared divided by 4 becomes x squared. 4x divided by 4 becomes x. A divided by 4, that's 2. So the equation is simplified to be x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0. Right? This one we see is not factorable, cannot be factored. So we check the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, which is 1 minus 8. Right? B squared, b is 1, minus 4 times a times c, or a is 1, c is 2. Right? So 1 minus 4 times 1 times 2, which is a, 1 minus a, which is negative 7. So the discriminant is negative, no real solution. All right. Less than 0, no real solution. Let's see this one. This one, we see 3 terms, all has factor 3. So we just divided every term by 3. 0 divided by 3 is still 0. 3x squared divided by 3 becomes x squared. Negative 15x divided by 3, that's negative 5x. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So get x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. And this can be factored, right? X minus 2, x minus 3. So get two solutions, 2 and 3. Okay, that's okay. Anyone has any question? You know, once we get 2 and 3, if you want, you can check, you can check to use the quadratic formula or completing square, all right? They should all have the same solutions. Let's see this one, x squared plus 2 equals 0. That means x squared equals negative 2. Can we square any number to get a negative? Right. So x squared equals negative 2, there's no real solution. Negative x squared plus 2, we can move negative x squared to one side. So we get x squared equals 2. Then we square root. When we square root, we get positive and negative 2 values. Positive square root 2, negative square root 2. Okay, anyone has any question? Let's see this example. Mike wants to put 150 square feet of artificial turf in his front yard. He wants to have a rectangular area of turf with a length 1 foot less than 3 times the width. Find the length and width and let the length of the tuft be and width round to the nearest tenth of a foot. So let's use W representing the width of the rectangle. Use L to represent the length. So the length is given 1 foot less than, so something minus 1. What's the something? 3 times the width, 3W. So L equals 3W minus 1. So 1 less than 3 times the width. And then we know area, the formula of area is L times length times the width for rectangle. So A equals LW. But now we want to make A only has one variable, so we can make A a function. So we want to make A a function. So what do we do now? We use the relation, right? So now, because L equals 3W minus 1, we just change L to be 3W minus 1. So this was L before, 3W minus 1. 3W minus 1 times W. Which what do we get? We get 3W squared minus W. Okay. We get 3W squared minus W. We see this is a quadratic equation, quadratic function, right? So the area in terms of W, in terms of width, is a quadratic function. And since we know, because Mike wants to put 150 square feet, so turf itself is 150 square feet. So that tells us AW is 150. And equals to 3W minus 1 times W, the 3W squared minus W. Quadratic equation. Then we move negative 50, we move 150 to the other side. When we move to the other side, it becomes negative. So we get 3W squared minus W minus 150 equals to 0. Right? We want to make one side to be 0. Then we could try to see if it's factorable or if we want to complete in squared. But we could use quadratic formula, right? Figure out ABC. Well, A is 3, the number before W squared. B is the number before W, which is negative 1. C is a constant term, negative 150. So we just plug into the formula. In the end, we get something like this. In the end, we get something like this. But because this is application, and also we are asked to round to the nearest tenth of a foot. So what do? We just approximate, punch into calculator, scientific calculator, square root of 1801. We get 42.44. Then we use 1 plus this number, we get 43.44. Then divide by 6, right? It's approximately 7.24. Then 1 minus 42.44, that's a negative number. But we don't measure anything but a negative number, right? So just take the width to be 7.24. Then we'll plug in 3W minus 1, which is the length. So 3 times the width, then minus 1. So the length is 26.72. So that's the application. All right, so you will have such kind of questions in your final exam. Anyone has any question? We're all good? No one has any questions so far? All right. Let's see this example. The length, we use L to represent, of a 200 square feet rectangular vegetable garden. So we imagine a rectangle which the area is 200, which means the length times the width is 200 square feet. And the length is 4 feet less than twice the width. Well, let's use W to represent the width. So that means 4 less than twice of the width. It means L equals 2W minus 4. So find the length and width of the garden to the nearest tenth of a foot. Okay, so 200 equals to L times W, right? L times W. And the L is 2W minus 4. So 2W minus 4 times W. Expand it a little bit, that means 200 equals 2W squared minus 4W. So we want to move 200 to the other side. So subtract 200 on both sides, we get 2W squared minus 4W minus 200 equals 0. Now we see every term, 3 terms, all have 2 as a factor. We just divide everything by 2. When we do that, we get W squared minus 2W minus 100 equals 0, because 0 divided by 2 is still 0. Now you may try factoring, or you may try completing squares, right? Or you may use quadratic formula. If you're completing squares, right, you had W squared minus 2W, you want to plus 1 minus 1 to make W minus 1, parentheses square. Right. Then, so we can add 1. Because we add 1 here, so we need to add 1 on the other side. So 100 becomes 101. With square root, so W equals the width equals 1 plus or minus square root of 101. Which we can punch into calculator. All right, punch into calculator square root of 101. It's about 10, right? It's 10 point something. So the width is about 11. Then we plug into the L to get the length. Anyone has any question? All right. Let's see this example. The height in feet, h. So h of t is a function in terms of t. Of the object shoot upwards into the air with its initial velocity v naught. So v naught is here, the initial velocity. After t seconds is given by the formula h of t, the height of the object, equals negative 16 t squared, upward parabola, downward parabola, plus this velocity v naught is given, v naught t. Okay. So then a firework is shot upwards with an initial velocity 130 feet per second. So v naught is given here 130. How many seconds will it take to reach a height of 260 feet? And then we want to round to the nearest tenth of a second. Okay, in this case, V naught is given, initial velocity. In this case, it's not given, but in this case, velocity is given 130 feet per second. And what else is given? The height of the object is given 260. This is asking for what? How many? What's the time? So we have h of t equals to negative 16 t squared plus v naught t. Then we set to be 260. Then we want to solve for t, right? So that means 260 equals negative 16 t squared plus 130 t. Okay, quadratic equation again. We can use a quadratic formula. We can try factoring skill. We can do something else, right? But in the end, you try when you do this kind of questions, right? You try at least 2 methods. If they all go to the same point, so you have a all right. So figure out the A, B, right? Put everything on one side. Put one side to be 0, and look for the common factor. Right? Common factor is 2, so divide every term by 2 to simplify the equation. The number before t squared is A, number before t is B, the constant numbers, so 130 is C. Plug into the quadratic formula. The second part is given an error shot now with the initial speed of 108 feet per second. Determine when the error will be 180 feet from the ground. Now h of t is given. H of t is 180. The initial velocity v naught is 108. So we'll plug into the function. So 180 equals to negative 16t squared plus 108t. Right? Again, we see this can be simplified. Well, maybe we'll divide by 4. So we divide every term by 4. 180 divided by 4. Hold on. Something's wrong. Oh, this didn't put it in the right. This was put in because this wants to make the first term to be positive, right? So this basically move those 2 terms to the left hand side. So negative 16t squared move to the left hand side becomes positive, and 108t becomes negative on the other side. 180 is still 180. So we divide by 4, so we get a 45 plus 40 squared minus 27t. And we'll figure out ABC. A is the number before t squared, right, the square term, which is 4. B is the number before the t term, the variable t, so negative 27. And C is a constant, the number by itself is 45. Then we just plug into a quadratic formula. Then we calculate, right? We use calculator to find those. Then in the end, we just leave 1 decimal place, or 2, rounded to the nearest 10th. Anyone has any question? Okay, we have a last example. A rectangular photograph measuring 6 by 4 centimeters. Imagine the middle rectangle is a picture. and is to be displayed in a card mount in a rectangular frame. So the outside, think about it as a frame. The owner wants the area of the mount, not the photo, but this one, to be 64 square centimeters. So what do we want to do? We want to find x. What's x? See the x in the picture? That's the x. Okay, first, let's figure out the length. The length equals to x plus x right, plus this c. What's that? So x plus x is 2x. 2x plus 6 is 2x plus c. Right? That's width. About length, x plus 4. So 2x plus 4. And the area of this rectangle is 64. Okay. So that means length times width equals 64. Then we expand this, right? So we get 4x squared plus 24, then plus 2 times 2, 6 times 2, which is 12x, 4 times 2x, which is 8x. So add up like terms, we get a 4x squared plus 20 minus 40 equals 0. Simplify, divide by 4. So we get x squared plus 5x minus 10 equals 0. Now we can try quadratic formula, right? Identify a is 1, b is 5, c is negative 10. So plug in negative b, negative 5, plus minus square root of 5 squared, minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 10. Then all divided by 2 times a, which is 1, 2 times 1. Simplify a little bit. In the end, just use a calculator to approximate square root of 16. All right. Anyone has any question? I just received an email actually today. I'm going to make a post. I received an email from a department chair because, you know, so many of us wants to know. During the COVID, we are allowed to have a cheat sheet. But now he's saying, let me read his original. His original email. What is it? Okay, here. So he's saying, we are discontinuing the policy of allowing students to have a reference sheet. This was a pandemic era accommodation, but the situation no longer warrants it. So it gets discontinued. So no more reference sheet. I'm so sorry. All right, so anyone has any questions regarding today's class? If not, we're going to talk about something else. Okay, I guess this is easy for everybody, huh? Okay, all right. So let me show you our final exam. And by the way, this is the last class material, so no more new material. That's it. And next time when we meet, we can discuss the questions you may have. All right, but let me close this. Let me change to announcements. In announcements, so you see final exam, because I won't remember myself. I need to check this too. I wrote on my calendar. So I suggest you to write on your calendar. May 19th is our exam. It's an in-person, on-campus paper exam. All right. So in this room, on paper, so bring pencils and a scientific calculator if you need. All right. Let's see your question. How many questions? I guess it's similar to exam 1 and exam 2. Maybe less than 20 questions, because I don't see the exam myself either yet. I don't know exactly how many of them. I would just assume similar to like less than 20 questions, maybe. It shouldn't be more than 20 questions. If you cannot make it to the final, you will get something called INC, incomplete. So you have to take a final next semester. Okay.
Professor,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question because I also have another math final on the same date, so I think there's gonna be an issue.
I'm sorry, I
have an
didn't.
exam on the same day.
Yes. The exam.
I
Right.
have another exam the same day as this.
Oh, you have, right. So some exams
Yeah.
fall on the same day, but it won't be exactly the same time.
It's the same time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
Wow.
math department, I think they set it up all on the same day. I have another math exam on the same time and date.
Same day and same time.
Yeah.
Can you run me email? Run me email. I'll send to the department chair. Let him know. We'll see
Sure
what can
thing,
he
I
do.
will.
That's not your problem. So they have to fix it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You have the same problem? If you have the same problem, write me an email. Okay, write in the email which two classes have the same exam at the same day at the same time. And I will forward to the department chair to see what he can do, okay? Because normally if you cannot take the final, you have to take the final next semester. You get an INC, incomplete. All right, which it takes another semester for you to finish, you know. The review is not posted yet. Oh, right. He's going to post on May something, right? Okay, so now this one is clear. And let's go to my open math. Yes, Camille.
Hello, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I would like to know if the final could be a different time because I work at 7:30 and I have my daughter. She goes to work with me, and I will have to drop her off at 7:30, and I will not make it in time.
I see. Can you write me an email?
I
I
sent
can
you an email
forward.
Saturday, I believe.
Oh, you did? Hold
Yes.
on. Send to my which email?
The one that was on the syllabus.
Hold on a second. I received so many emails. Maybe I missed yours. Let me see your name. Camille. Camille.
It came from a Gmail. C period Camille 8113 at gmail.com.
Camille. Okay, I'm checking. I'm checking to see where is Camille. Camille Connor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see it. Last week.
Yeah. I believe Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Saturday.
Mm.
I work at a daycare, and I open the daycare at 7:30, and my daughter goes with me. So if I try to make it to the final, coming from Coney Island to the campus, I will be late.
Okay. So I'm going to forward to the coordinator, okay, to see
Okay.
what to do with this.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me stop recording.